Bankruptcy could feel like the end of the world, right? But what if I told you it's just the beginning of a comeback? Let's talk about how bankruptcy really affects your credit and what you can actually do about it. Hey, my name is Jeremy Anderson. I'm with the J Consultant, and I teach you how to shorten the process of getting your bankruptcy removed from your credit report. So, in previous videos, I basically discussed what you need to do in order to get your bankruptcy removed from your credit report. But before we even go there, let's just talk about what is a bankruptcy. So, as a consumer, which is someone like you and I, that's what they consider us to be as consumers, we have two different bankruptcies to file. You have Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and then you also have Chapter 13 bankruptcy. What Chapter 7 bankruptcy is called liquidation bankruptcy, or that's what it's referred to. It wipes out unsecured debt as far as like medical debt, credit card debt, anything unsecured. So once you actually file, it'll stay on your credit report or it'll report on your credit report for 10 years. Then we have a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The Chapter 13 bankruptcy referred to as a reorganization. And basically what you do is you set up a payment plan with the court, you guys work out something, and you repay things back. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy stays on your credit report for 7 years or reports for 7 years. So the only difference between the reporting status is for a Chapter 7, it stays on your credit report for 10 years versus Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7. And I say that it stays on your credit report for that allowed amount of time, but basically it could be reported for that amount of time. But here's the thing, the courts doesn't report that information to the different consumer reporting agencies, but we'll get back on that in a moment. Because let's be real, bankruptcies hit your credit report hard. It'll typically drop your score between like 130 and 200 points depending on reporting. So it hits it pretty hard, pretty hard. I know when it hit mine, I felt it. It was a relief to have things gone, but to have that stuck on there or feeling as though it's stuck. But me, I already knew that that wasn't going to be the situation for me before I even got into it, but I still felt the hit. And it affects you in different ways as far as like getting a car loan, getting credit cards, getting mortgages. Not saying that you can't, but it's definitely going to affect you in a way. It's going to affect your interest rate for sure. So you're going to be paying a higher amount on whatever it is that you get having a bankruptcy on your credit versus not having one on your credit. And then it also affects your overall credit worthiness and trust with the different lenders. And I don't know if you've ever heard that term called "you are the money." And to be honest, I didn't understand it the first time when I heard it. But once I started to just like progress in life, I started to learn more about finances, things like that. I understood it more. But you are the money. And let me give you an example. So say for instance, when you go to a bank, right? You go to a bank and you have not the tellers, but I guess like the bankers. I'm not for sure exactly what their job titles are, but basically their job is to sell you the institution's product. And what I mean by the institutions are the banks, whatever bank you're in, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, PNB. They have a quota that they have to meet. They're trying to get people approved, as many people approved as possible because they have these products that they have to sell. So who are they looking at to get this? They're looking at you as the consumer. So you are the money. Because as soon as you get these things, they have interest tied on to them. That's how a lot of these larger institutions make their money off her interest rate. But the bank is here to make money off of you as a consumer. So once I learned that, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, you are the money. Because to be honest, like getting money is really not hard to get at all, especially once your credit profile is structured a certain way. But as I mentioned earlier, it could legally stay on your credit report for 7 to 10 years, depending on which bankruptcy you actually filed. This is the thing, it doesn't have to. And I am a living witness, which is the reason why I'm able to give you guys this information today or just talk about it because I've already gone through the process. The part that nobody tells you is that your bankruptcy doesn't get reported to the different credit bureaus. So I know you're probably wondering, well, how the hell it get there? And it got there through the different third parties, which is LexisNexis and Pacer. Their job is to scrap up public information on all of the consumers and sell it off to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion so they can report information on you. So what that means, one, you as a consumer, you have the right to challenge that information for its accuracy. You can question where they actually got the data, and you can dispute the record legally and strategically. Not emotionally, but strategically. In my previous video, I talked about there are specific laws in the Fair Credit Reporting Act that you can actually use in order to get your bankruptcy removed from your credit report. One in particular is 1681I, which gives you the power as a consumer to demand verification or deletion from anything that's reported inaccurate on your credit profile. But you can actually take that code 1681I, draw you up a letter, send that in to LexisNexis, asking them to remove your bankruptcy information. Now, once you do that, you'll receive a letter like this. This is from LexisNexis. Let me zoom on in. It's from LexisNexis. My name is Jeremy Anderson. And basically, it just states that they removed my bankruptcy information from their database. And let's just go back to me saying strategically. What I mean by strategically is you'll send in verification letter to the different credit bureaus asking them to verify the information. They'll send you a letter back stating that it was verified. You send one back saying how, who verified it. They'll send you a letter letting you know that it was verified from LexisNexis. So that's the reason why I said strategically more than anything, because if you already have your LexisNexis letter stating that the information was removed from their database, that's one of the avoidance that you can avoid, because as a company, as a business, they don't want to lose money. But they're allowed by law, they are allowed 3 stalls per year. And what I mean by stalls is they'll just basically stall you out, just saying, hey, we couldn't verify the information that you sent in. We couldn't verify that it was sent in from you. The documents that you sent in are not legible. I've received so many different stalls because they did not want to remove my bankruptcy from my credit report, which is the reason why I'm able to give you guys this information today to shorten your process. Now, if you want the specific letters that I sent in to LexisNexis in order to get it removed from their database and also to get it removed from the different credit bureaus, then just click the link in the bio. There's also a bankruptcy eraser ebook, which walks you step by step on everything that you need to do in order to get your bankruptcy removed from your credit report. Now, as it pertains to the bankruptcy, I know that bankruptcy may feel like it's a setback, but it's really a comeback. Everything is about perspective. But when you can legally get rid of something and then come back and start over and not having to wait 7 to 10 years depending on which way that you filed, but you definitely got to take the right steps. If this video gave you any type of clarity, drop a like, leave a comment with your question or any questions you may have, and make sure that you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.